Hello there, dear enjoyers of knowledge, and welcome. I am Professor Paulus, and today we're going to learn about a very important man, Napoleon Bonaparte. No, not that Napoleon. Get out of here! I'm talking about the real Napoleon Bonaparte. Soldier, general, emperor, and manlet? Well, no, not really. Our story starts in the year 1769 in the humble island of Corsica. Napoleon was born at the tender age of 0 to Maria Letizia Ramolino and Carlo Buonaparte as Napoleone Buonaparte, a name that, in time, he would change to the more Gallic form he is best known by. From a very young age, Napoleon was a bright and insightful child who would later obtain many merits as a commander and rise to be one of the most famous generals and tacticians in history. And despite all that, for many people today he is still that short French guy. I'm sorry to say it, but he was not a short man. Napoleon is known to have measured somewhere in between 5 feet 2 and 5 feet 6, or roughly 1.58 and 1.70 meters. But why the discrepancy? Well, because you see, the French inch at the time was slightly longer than the imperial inch, which is still in use today, the latter being 2.54 centimeters, while the French pouce, as they called it, was 2.7 centimeters. Napoleon's own personal physician said that his height was over 5 feet 2, yes, but applying the French measurement, that equals around 1.67 meters, or just under 5 feet 6, which makes Napoleon a man of a very average height for the time. Some would say that even above average. Granted, he was not a giant by any measure, and one could argue he's even below average by today's standards. But to say he was short is quite a stretch. The Duke of Wellington, one of his most famous rivals ever, was only 3 inches taller. So no, Napoleon was not a short man. So where did the misconception begin? Well, my friends, we don't need to look any further than the British cartoonist James Gillray. Gillray was a caricaturist and printmaker famous for his political and social satires, among which he targeted, of course, Napoleon Bonaparte. In his cartoons, he tried to portray him as an immature, childish little man. People, however, started to associate his depiction in the drawings to his real self, and soon birthed the Napoleon short stereotype. This, of course, was not unknown to our Frenchman. He was so upset by the caricatures mocking his stature that he even demanded the British to censor their press, which, of course, the Brits politely refused. At the end of the day, those drawings were a very powerful propaganda tool against their biggest enemy. In fact, Gillray's portrayal of Napoleon as a small man was so popular that other cartoonists took it up and started doing it too, often exaggerating the smallness of his figure by adorning him with disproportionately large hats, boots, and sword. So yes, the myth of Napoleon being short was born because of a 200-year-old shitposter. What do you think of that? If you're still here, thank you very much for watching the video. Please give a like and subscribe and hit the bell button if you'd be interested in watching more in the future. With all that said, have a great day and remember, it is not the size of the man that matters, but the size of his penis.